You can't stop buying things. That's not a shopping habit. That's addiction. And addicts don't control their money. Their addiction does. Marcus Aurelius discovered why 1,850 years ago, in Roman marketplaces, before Amazon, before one-click purchasing, and what he learned about brain hijacking will explain why you're broke. Here's the truth. You're not making decisions. You're being controlled. Let me prove it. The year is 168 AD. Marcus Aurelius walks through the Forum, the marketplace of Rome. Merchants everywhere, selling silk from China, spices from India, jewelry, pottery, exotic animals, and he's watching Roman citizens destroy themselves. Not from poverty, from buying. Senator Crassus just bought his 4th villa. Doesn't visit 3 of them. You have subscriptions you don't use. Apps you never open. Clothes with tags still on. Same pattern. Different century. Merchant Licinius bought a collection of rare birds. Doesn't even like birds. General Vitellius bought imported furniture from Egypt. Puts it in storage. These people are wealthy, and they can't stop. Marcus writes in his journal, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? How much more painful the spending than the earning? Read that again. The spending is more painful than the earning. Not because the items are expensive, because the behavior is compulsive. And Marcus saw something that modern psychology wouldn't discover for 2,000 years. Your brain is being hijacked, and you don't even know it's happening. How many times this week did you buy something you didn't need? Once? 3 times? 5? You know the exact purchases I'm talking about. You can see them in your mind right now. That thing from Amazon. That impulse buy at checkout. You remember. Let me show you how deep this goes. Here's what happened to you this week. Monday, saw an ad. Didn't buy. Kept thinking about it. Tuesday, checked reviews. Told yourself you're researching. Wednesday, added to cart. Left it there. Came back 3 times. Thursday, bought it. Felt relief. Felt excitement. Friday, package arrived. Opened it. Felt nothing. Moved on. Saturday, saw another ad. Started the cycle again. Sound familiar? You think you're making decisions. You're not. You're being hijacked. Here's the mechanism. Step 1. You see the thing. Dopamine spike. Your brain says, want. Step 2. You resist. Tension builds. Discomfort grows. Step 3. You buy. Dopamine floods. Relief. Pleasure. Step 4. You adapt. Dopamine drops. Back to baseline. Step 5. You need the next hit. See another thing. Cycle repeats. This is not shopping. This is addiction. And the entire economy is built on keeping you hijacked. Marcus Aurelius saw this in ancient Rome. He wrote, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. But then he added something else. All this is because they do not know good from evil. He wasn't talking about morality. He was talking about discernment. The Roman merchants didn't know what they actually needed versus what they just wanted. And 2,000 years later, neither do you. Let me prove it. Stop. Right now. I want you to do something. Open your closet mentally. How many items have you worn in the last month? Now count total items. What's the difference? That difference. That's your hijacking rate. You bought most of those clothes in a moment of impulse. You felt something when you saw them. You felt nothing after you wore them once. That's hijacked spending. Check your bank statement. How many charges do you not remember making? That's not forgetfulness. That's compulsive behavior you've normalized. Look at your subscriptions. How many are you actually using? That's not just in case. That's hijacked spending on autopilot. Marcus saw wealthy Romans with warehouses full of things they never used. You have a digital version, wish lists, saved carts, bookmarked products. Same hijacking, different technology. Here's what's really happening. And it's worse than you think. Here's what's really happening. Your brain evolved for scarcity. When you saw something valuable, you took it. Because you might never see it again. That instinct kept humans alive for 300,000 years. But now, scarcity is manufactured. Only 3 left in stock. Artificial scarcity. Sale ends tonight. Artificial urgency. People are viewing this right now. Artificial social proof. Your ancient brain can't tell the difference between real scarcity and fake scarcity. So it screams, buy now, even when you don't need it. You're being hijacked by your own evolution. Marcus understood this. He wrote, the object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. The insane. People buying things they don't need, with money they don't have, to impress people they don't like. That's not ancient wisdom. That's modern reality. You did this last month. Bought something to impress someone who didn't even notice. You know exactly what I'm talking about. How many times this year did you buy something to feel better after a bad day? Purchase something because everyone else had it? Spend money to celebrate something small? Upgrade something that was working fine? That's not decision-making. That's hijacked behavior. And here's what it's really costing you. More than money. Something you can't get back. Every dollar you spend on something you don't need is a dollar that can't compound. That $60 shirt you bought and wore once could have been $600 in 20 years. That $200 gadget sitting in a drawer could have been $2,000. That $4,000 you spent on random stuff last year could have been $40,000 in a decade. You're not just spending money. You're spending your future freedom. But here's what really matters. This isn't about the money. It's about your sovereignty. Every time you buy something you don't need, you're proving to yourself that you can't control your own mind. Every compulsive purchase is you saying, my brain is stronger than I am. And the more you prove that, the more true it becomes. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world. He could buy anything. But he practiced something every single day that made him immune to this hijacking. And when you understand what he did, everything about spending changes. Forever. Marcus Aurelius had a practice he did before every purchase. Not a budget. Not a spending plan. Not a list. Something more powerful. He called it the pause. It's simple, brutal, and it will expose every hijacked impulse you have. Here's how it worked. Before buying anything non-essential, Marcus would pause and ask himself 3 questions. Not 1, 3. In order. Every time. But before I tell you the questions, you need to understand something. These aren't just questions. They're a firewall between your hijacked impulses and your actual decisions. Marcus discovered that the hijacking works because there's no gap between wanting and buying. No pause, no thought, no filter. These three questions create that gap. And in that gap, you become free. Here are the three questions. Question 1. Do I need this, or does my ego need this? This question separates necessity from identity purchasing. You don't need the luxury car. Your ego needs to be seen as successful. You don't need the designer clothes. Your ego needs to be perceived as high status. You don't need the expensive watch. Your ego needs validation. Marcus wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Translation: if you need external objects to feel good internally, you're hijacked. Most purchases aren't about the object. They're about the identity you think it gives you. The $200 shoes don't make you more successful. They make you feel less insecure. The $1,000 phone doesn't make you more productive. It makes you feel less behind. The $5,000 couch doesn't make you more comfortable. It makes you feel less inadequate. You're not buying things. You're buying temporary relief from yourself. And relief doesn't last. So you buy again. And again. Hijacked. You've done this. Bought something expensive and felt amazing for 48 hours. Then felt exactly the same as before. That's the hijacking cycle. And you're allowed to be embarrassed by that. You should be. Because embarrassment is the first step to breaking free. Question 2. If this disappeared tomorrow, would I replace it? This question reveals what you actually value versus what you think you should value. You buy the treadmill. It sits unused for 6 months. It disappears. Would you replace it? No, because you never wanted to run. You wanted to be the type of person who runs. You buy the expensive blender. Use it twice. It breaks. Would you replace it? No, because you don't actually make smoothies. You wanted to be health conscious. You buy the course. Never finish it. It expires. Would you replace it? No, because you don't need the information. You needed to feel like you're improving. Marcus practiced this constantly. He wrote, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary? If the answer requires justification, the answer is no." Warren Buffett has $120 billion. He asks himself this question before every purchase. You have $2,000 in your account, and you don't ask anything. You just click, buy now. That's why he's a billionaire, and you're broke. Question 3. Will I remember this purchase in 1 year? This question destroys impulsive buying instantly. That $80 dinner, you won't remember it. That $50 shirt you had to have, you won't remember buying it. That $30 impulse purchase at checkout, you won't remember what it was. You're spending real money on forgettable experiences. Marcus wrote, "The value of life lies not in the length of days, but in the use we make of them." Replace life with money. Same truth. The value of money lies not in how much you have, but in the use you make of it. Spending $80 on a forgettable dinner is wasting money. Spending $80 on something you'll remember forever is investing money. Most people spend money to feel something in the moment, then forget the moment. That's hijacked behavior. Marcus used these 3 questions like a firewall. Every non-essential purchase had to pass all 3. If it failed even one question, he didn't buy it. And here's what happened. His spending dropped by 70%. Not because he was cheap, because most purchases failed the test. His satisfaction increased, because everything he owned passed all 3 questions. His decision fatigue disappeared, because the framework did the thinking. His wealth compounded, because money not spent on hijacked purchases got invested. But here's what really happened. The most important change wasn't financial. By practicing the pause, Marcus retrained his brain. At first, he had to force himself to ask the 3 questions. After a month, it became automatic. After 3 months, his brain started asking the questions before he even considered buying. After 6 months, the hijacking stopped working. He'd see an ad and feel nothing. He'd reprogrammed his dopamine system. And once you're not hijacked anymore, you're free. You're allowed to reprogram your brain. You're allowed to ignore ads. You're allowed to delete shopping apps. That's not depriving yourself. That's protecting yourself. Now here's how you actually do this, starting today. And it takes 30 seconds before every purchase. Here's how you do this, starting today. The 30-day pause challenge. For the next 30 days, before buying anything non-essential, you must wait 24 hours and ask the 3 questions. Question 1. Do I need this, or does my ego need this? Question 2. If this disappeared tomorrow, would I replace it? Question 3. Will I remember this purchase in 1 year? If it fails any question, you don't buy it. That's it. 3 questions. 24-hour pause. 30 days. Here's what happens when you do this. Week 1. You'll realize 80% of your purchases fail all 3 questions. You'll feel uncomfortable. That's the hijacking losing control. Week 2. You'll save £200, $400 you would have spent. You'll feel anxious. That's withdrawal. That's your addiction realizing you're breaking free. Week 3. The anxiety decreases. You start seeing ads and feeling nothing. The hijacking is losing power. Week 4. You've saved $800. You feel lighter, more in control, less anxious about money. Month 2. You've saved $1,600. People ask what changed. You're calmer, more focused, less stressed. Month 3. You'll look back at your old spending and feel embarrassed. Not sad. Embarrassed at how hijacked you were. That's growth. And you're allowed to feel that embarrassment. You're allowed to be different. You're allowed to not buy things everyone else buys. That's freedom, not deprivation. But here's what people won't tell you about breaking free from hijacked spending. When you start doing this, people will call you cheap. Why don't you just treat yourself? You're no fun anymore. It's just $50. You've changed. Let me be clear about something. People who criticize your pause are people who are still hijacked. They need you to keep buying. Because your hijacking validates theirs. Your freedom threatens their prison. Marcus wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." Translation: stop talking about what you should do. Start doing it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for pausing. You don't owe anyone your continued hijacking. You're allowed to be free while they stay trapped. Here's what happens over the next 6 months if you practice the pause. Month 1, $800 saved. You proved you can control your impulses. Month 2, $1,600 saved. Confidence grows. Month 3, $2,400 saved. You make your first investment. Month 4, $3,200 saved. You realize you don't need half the things you thought you did. Month 5, $4,000 saved. You start a side project with the money you didn't waste. Month 6, $4,800 saved. And psychological freedom you didn't have before. You're not rich yet, but you're not hijacked anymore. And not being hijacked is more valuable than being rich. Because hijacked people who get money spend it. Free people who get money keep it. Which one do you want to be? Marcus Aurelius died at 58. Know what he left behind? His meditations, his philosophy, his example of freedom. The hijacked senators he wrote about, no one remembers their names. Here's your choice. You can keep clicking buy now, keep getting hijacked, keep proving your brain owns you, or you can pause. Ask 3 questions. Break free. Most people will keep buying because addiction is easier than discipline. Few people will pause because they'd rather be free than comfortable. Which one are you? If you're ready to stop being hijacked, write this in the comments. I'm hijacked by spending and I'm breaking free. Not, I'll try, not, sounds good. I'm breaking free. Present tense. Starting now. This channel is for people who want freedom, not comfort. Next video, your friends are keeping you broke, and they don't know it. Marcus Aurelius figured this out, ruling an empire while being offered everything. You're implementing it now. One final question. Are you strong enough to pause?